So in text 28, Krishna says, thus the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service of the Lord. So, so self-controlled, constantly engaged in yoga practice. So that's when he becomes free from all material contamination, means no more material desires. Then he achieves the highest stage of transcendental loving service to the Lord. So it means the highest stage of yoga practice also is transcendental loving service of the Lord. It's not anything else. It's not moksha. It's not merging in the Brahm Jyoti. It's not anything else. Only transcendental loving service to the Lord. So text 29. Sarva bhutastham atmanam sarva bhutani chatmani ikshate yogi yuktatma sarvatra sarvam darshanam. A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. So a self realized yogi, a true yogi, means who has achieved the perfection of life, who has achieved the topmost position. He says Supreme Lord, he sees Supreme Lord everywhere, and he sees every person in me. Means every person is a part and parcel of Krishna. A Krishna conscious yogi is a perfect seer because he sees Krishna, the Supreme, situated in everyone's heart as Super Soul Paramatma. The Lord in his Paramatma feature is situated within both the heart of the dog and that of a Brahman. The perfect yogi knows that the Lord is eternally transcendental and is not materially affected by his presence in either a dog or a Brahman. That is the supreme neutrality of the Lord. The individual soul is also situated in the individual heart, but he is not present in all hearts. So that's what Prabhupada later writes. The yogi sees equally because he sees that all living entities, although in different situations, according to the results of fruitive work, means the previous karma, in all circumstances remain the servants of God. While in the material energy, the living entity serves the material senses, and while in the spiritual energy, he serves the Supreme Lord directly. In either case, the living entity is a servant of God. This vision of equality is perfect in a person in Krishna consciousness. Means the yogi has to see everybody equally, with equal vision, that everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. Very difficult stage to achieve. It's not easy. And then next words, very important words. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. So one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. Just like a few days back, I think it was Raghu Prabhu only who posted that message that whenever we go out, or whenever even when we open our eyes, when we see things, we have to see everything in connection with Krishna. And actually, everything is in connection with Krishna. It's just we don't see things properly. That's why we don't see the connection. Like Krishna says, I am the light of sun and moon. To see anything, we require the light of either sun or moon. Without that, we cannot see anything. So, whenever we see something, we should remember immediately it's by the mercy of Krishna only that He has given the sun and moon by which I can see. In fact, when we see our body, we should see hands of Krishna everywhere. When we see anything in the house, also, when we see all the ingredients, whatever the house is made up of, everything is coming from Krishna. We drink water. Krishna says, I am the taste of water, taste of pure water. We should remember Krishna. In fact, Srila Prabhupada once said, if a drunkard, although he is addicted to drinking liquor, but if he even thinks or comes to that realization that this taste of liquor is Krishna, sooner or later, he will become a devotee. Because nothing can exist without Krishna. Everything is Krishna, Krishna's energy. Just like once, I think I've told this incident in the class. So once Akbar Maharaj, he asked Birbal, Birbal, who is stronger, who is greater, me or your Lord Krishna? Birbal being Birbal, he would never give a straight answer. He said, Akbar Maharaj, you are greater than Krishna. And Akbar was surprised. He said, you are talking is Supreme Lord, you worship him, and you think I'm greater than him? How is it possible? Birbal said, Maharaj, you can do something that even Krishna cannot do. Akbar was again shocked. What is this Birbal talking about? He said, what is it that I can do and even Krishna cannot do? He said, Maharaj, you can kick somebody out of your state, out of your kingdom. But Krishna can't. Why? Because everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is under Krishna's kingdom. There's nothing, he cannot kick us out of his kingdom. Material energy is also his kingdom. Spiritual energy is also his kingdom. So where is he's going to kick us out? So Akbar understood the answer. And he understood how great Krishna is. So this is what Krishna is. Everything belongs to him. But we have to see, we have to develop that eye. We don't. We don't have those eyes. Because we haven't made the progress yet. Of course, slowly, we are trying. Prabhupada says, a person in Krishna consciousness certainly sees Lord Krishna everywhere, and he sees everything in Krishna. Such a person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature, but in each and every instance, he is conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. Nothing can exist without Krishna. And Krishna is a Lord of everything. That is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the development of love for Krishna, a position transcendental even to material liberation. So basic principle of Krishna consciousness is nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. Lord means a controller, proprietor, enjoyer. He is everything. That is a basic principle. And then further on, Krishna consciousness is the development of love for that person who is the Lord of everything, and nothing can exist without him. At this stage of Krishna consciousness, beyond self realization, the devotee becomes one with Krishna, in the sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee, and the devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. An intimate relationship between the Lord and the devotee then exists. In that stage, the living entity can never be annihilated, nor is the personality of Godhead ever out of sight of the devotee. So that is a stage we have to reach. Just like when Hiranyakashipu was charging towards Prahlad Maharaj, and he was really enraged. He was really upset with Prahlad Maharaj, and he was going to kill Prahlad Maharaj. But while charging towards Prahlad Maharaj with the sword in his hand, he hit his fist. Um, he was asking Prahlad Maharaj, "Where is your God? You say Vishnu is everywhere. Where is it?" And while charging towards Prahlad Maharaj, he hit his hand on the pillar. He said, "Is your Vishnu here?" And Prahlad Maharaj, being the purest devotee, he said, "Yes, he's everywhere. He's even in this pillar." And when Hiranyakashipu hit that pillar with his fist, Lord Nrsimha showed up from the pillar. He broke open the pillar and he came out. So true yogi, in fact, out of the true yogi, the real yogi is a devotee. Devotee sees Krishna everywhere, in every situation, whether the situation is from our limited vision, whether the situation is favorable for us or is unfavorable for us. Why I said our limited vision? Because from perspective of Krishna, everything is favorable for us. For momentarily, we might think, oh, this situation is not favorable for me. But even then, a devotee sees everywhere Krishna. He sees Krishna's hand everywhere. He sees Krishna's presence everywhere. He sees Krishna's mercy everywhere. That is a devotee. And just like Prabhupada has given one example, and a beautiful example, it's because of his love for the devotee's love for Krishna. He sees Krishna's hand, Krishna's presence, Krishna's mercy, Krishna's um, what do we call it? Krishna's plan everywhere. Just like a mother, if she has a little child, and if she sees among 200 pairs of shoes, she sees her child's pair of shoes, and she would immediately remember her child, and she would that the love will flow from her body for the child just by seeing the shoes of the child. Why? Because she's not seeing the shoes, she's seeing her child. So similarly, for a devotee, we have to develop that vision. When we see anything, we don't see that particular thing. We see Krishna's hand, Krishna's presence in that thing, Krishna's mercy, how he has made that thing for my benefit. As a human being, although we claim we are very advanced, but um, when with devotees, with the Radha Prabhu and the devotees, we went to Barsana and we went to this Goshala of Ramesh Baba. And in that Goshala, there were about 50,000 cows. 50,000, not a small number, 50,000. And morning and evening, the cows go out for grazing, and they all come back, and it's a beautiful sight to see when they all come back. And it's like for about 45 minutes to an hour, you cannot cross that road because the cows are crossing. So we were watching the cows, and the calves were also there. Little calves were there. They could be like maybe a week old, or 15 days old, or 1 month old calves were there. And so many cows were coming. But the calves would still find their mother, even among so many cows. And the mother will find her calf. That was the most amazing sight for us to see. The calf is not lost, and calf will not go to some other cow for milk, and the mother cow will not feed some other calf her milk. Amazing. And these are the cows. They could recognize their mother. So similarly, a devotee, he should be so much dependent, so much of in love with Krishna, so much of in identity with Krishna. He should remember, he should see Krishna everywhere. He should be able to find Krishna. And that's what Prabhupada is writing. He's quoting Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadev Hirdesha Vilokayanti. I worship the primeval Lord, Govinda, who is always seen by the devotees, whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shyam Sundar, situated within the heart of the devotee. At this stage, Lord Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose sight of the Lord. In the case of a yogi who sees the Lord as Paramatma within the heart, the same applies. Such a yogi turns into a pure devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself. So here we have to remind ourselves of Krishna, Krishna's presence, Krishna's energy, everything. We have to read the scriptures every day. We have to chant every day. Of course, this is comes under the practice of sadhana, but we should be doing it with utmost urgency. But our whole success lies in this, in our sadhana. In fact, this is one thing that I really admired this organization, Brahmakumaris. Something that they practice, which is really admirable. That thing is, of course, they have their meditation session every morning, but throughout the day, every hour, like say 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think till say 9 p.m. till they go to bed. Every hour they have a traffic control for 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes. So they have alarm system. Now everybody has nice phones, so they can set up alarm system. Then, well, earlier it was like everybody in the center would get this kind of message. So every hour they would stop everything for whatever they are doing, and they just stand or sit down in silence and meditate on the message that has been transmitted from the head office. So it's a wonderful practice of reminding them of what is the purpose, what is their goal in Brahmakumaris, whatever they teach, and whatever meditation they teach, whatever the message they give. Every hour there is a message, and they call it traffic control. Means whatever the traffic in the mind is, they just stop it and they listen to the message coming from the head office or message whatever they distribute in their centers, and they focus. They try to focus the mind. It's a wonderful practice. In fact, I wish somebody can. I mean, we have so many software engineers in this group. Somebody can design something that a message would come every hour. Some message, maybe the same message. There's so many Prabhupada's quotes are there, and every hour, if that message comes and it plays for 1 minute, and we should be able to stop everything in the mind. Whatever is going on, 1 minute, nothing. The world is not going to stop in 1 minute. So if we can do that, at least it reminds us of every hour that who we are, what is our goal of life, what are we trying to achieve here. So eh, obviously it requires lots of practice, whatever Krishna is asking us to do. Lots of practice. But it is possible. One can do it. Otherwise, Krishna would not put it in Bhagavad Gita if it was impossible thing to do. Text 31. Sarvabhuta sthitam yo mam bhajati ekatvam astita sarvata vartamanu sayogi mai vartate. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Super Soul, knowing that I and the Super Soul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. A yogi who is practicing meditation on the Super Soul sees within himself the plenary portion of Krishna as Vishnu, with 4 hands holding conchal, wheel, club, and lotus flower. The yogi should know that Vishnu is not different from Krishna. Krishna in this form of Super Soul is situated in everyone's heart. Furthermore, there is no difference between the innumerable Super Souls present in the innumerable hearts of living entities. Nor is there a difference between a Krishna conscious person, always engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, and a perfect yogi engaged in meditation on the Super Soul. So, nor is there a difference between Krishna conscious person, always engaged in loving service of Krishna, and perfect yogi engaged in meditation on the Super Soul. It means they both have to concentrate on Krishna. The yogi in Krishna consciousness, even though he may be engaged in various activities while in material existence, remains always situated in Krishna. This is confirmed in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu or Srila Rupa Goswami, Niklashavi api avasthasu jivan mukta sochete. So, but even while we are engaged in the service of Krishna, we have to remind ourselves, I am doing it for the pleasure of Krishna, not for my own pleasure, not my for own benefit, not with an ulterior motive. It is for the pleasure of Krishna that we have to remind ourselves. In Narad Pancharatra, it is confirmed in this way: by concentrating one's attention on the transcendental form of Krishna, who is all pervading and beyond time and space, one becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna and then attains a happy state of transcendental association with him. So, text 32. So, another text, it again talks about seeing Krishna everywhere and what happens when one sees Krishna everywhere. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees a true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress, O Arjuna. One who is Krishna conscious is a perfect yogi. He is aware of everyone's happiness and distress by dint of his own personal experience. The cause of the distress of the living entity is forgetfulness of his relationship with God. And the cause of happiness is knowing Krishna to be the supreme enjoyer of all activities of the human being, the proprietor of all lands and planets, and the sincerest friend of all living entities. The perfect yogi knows that the living being who is conditioned by the modes of material nature is subjected to the threefold material miseries due to forgetfulness of his relationship with Krishna. And because in Krishna consciousness is happy, he tries to distribute the knowledge of Krishna everywhere. So the perfect yogi, he knows that people are suffering because they've forgotten Krishna. And those who are happy, they know why they're happy, because they know they are in service of Krishna. So when we forget Krishna, it's like a son of a very rich person, and he leaves his father's house and goes outside in the market or goes outside in the world, and he is suffering a lot and he's trying to make his ends meet. But if somebody comes to him and he says, "You're suffering because you have forgotten your father. Your father is a very rich person. Go back to him, he'll take care of you." So a yogi knows, a devotee knows why we are suffering, because we have forgotten Krishna. All we have to do is try to go back to him. That's all. That's why spiritual world is called Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means no kuntha or no worries. Material world is padam padam yatve pradam. It's full of worries, full of all the problems. Vaikuntha, no problems. So similarly, when we go back to Krishna, even though we are in the material world, so-called, but not back in the spiritual world, but if we are in the service of Krishna, if we become Krishna consciousness, there are no material miseries anymore. The body might undergo lots of problems. So suffering, the problems are there, but the suffering is optional. So that stage we have to reach. A devotee of the Lord always looks to the welfare of all living entities, and in this way, he is factually the friend of everyone. He is the best yogi because he does not desire perfection in the yoga for his personal benefit, but tries for others also. He does not envy his fellow living entities. So, yogi who has withdrawn to a secluded place in order to meditate perfectly may not be as perfect as a devotee who is trying his best to turn every man toward Krishna consciousness, because this is what the order of Krishna is. He says that a true yogi sees a true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress, and he tries to rectify the distressful situation. So here another theme ends, and I also wanted to finish the class earlier. See, anybody has any question or comments? So I guess no questions. So we'll stop here. See you all tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Vinay Prabhu.
No, Prabhuji, I just said Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhu.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare Krishna.